How's it going? I'm Dan, here at the Scan Strength, our little family business, the Scan Strength Indoor Turf Sports Center, where I coach baseball and softball lessons. And I was a catcher my whole life, leading into college and everything, and now I coach it. And I wanted to give 3 aspects of being a catcher that I've deemed the most important. So number 1, out of these 3, and these are not necessarily in particular order, they're all pretty critical. So number 1 is the physical skills. So obviously being able to catch and throw and block the balls and do all that stuff extremely well and master all of that. Number 2 is having a high IQ on the field, and it'll lead into the next point, but knowing what's going on during the game. So evaluating who's up at bat. And some of this is pretty advanced, so when I say this stuff, a 9 through 12-year-old or younger kid doesn't have to know all this right away, but we're building toward this. So situational IQ, so knowing what inning it is, what the score is, who's up to bat, what they did last time, what number they are in the order, knowing how to call pitches over the course of time, knowing how to position your players on the field based off of what that person had done up at bat last time around, or based on the situation, if there might be a bunt, if there might be a hit and run, if someone might be stealing. So there's a lot of situations that go into the game that over time, as they start off younger and they get older and older and older and progress in their career, they're going to want to learn, want to know, which we go over a lot of that stuff as they progress in catching school, which is why we call it catching school. We start with physical skills, and then as they get those down, we progress into more high-level thinking. So number 1, just to go through these again, number 1 is the physical skills. You have to be able to perform what's required of the position and do it proficiently. Number 2 is the IQ, on-field IQ, which segues into number 3, which is actually my favorite aspect of being a catcher, which is the leadership aspect of it. So being able to be a commanding presence on the field, because ultimately you see everything going on. And so if you recognize, for example, that a batter, the last time they were up, kept grounding the ball to shortstop, or they've done that a couple times, you have to pay attention to that and let your shortstop know, hey, move over a little bit, right? And be a commanding presence, okay? Managing the game, you're basically an extension of the coach, so that therefore you have to be the coach's go-to, the leader on the field. They might be asking you, hey, what's going on out there? What happened with that pitch? Why'd so-and-so miss the ball? And you have to be a liaison for them between the coach and the team, because you are essentially the coach on the field. And on top of that, being a leader, right? It can go many ways. There's all different types of leaders. So you don't have to necessarily be the loudest person in the dugout all the time and things like that. You'll definitely want to be really loud out on the field to command, to let people know what they need to do. Throw to second, 2-2-2, 4-4-4, things like that. You have to be able to communicate really well and succinctly and deliberately, which goes into being a leader as well. And on top of that, along with being a leader who can be out there on the field and command the game, essentially, you also kind of have to be a little bit of a psychologist for your pitchers. That was something I really thrived at, was getting to know my pitchers, how they like to throw, what pitches they like to throw, the sequences that they like to throw in, and then also how they handle adversity. So, some pitchers, I could throw the ball back to them pretty hard and let them know, hey man, you get that ball over the plate, and kind of be a little bit, maybe tougher with them in that regard. And some pitchers responded really well to that. But a lot of them, I would need to, kind of, I don't want to say massage what's going on there, but really kind of calm them down, be a gentle voice of reason, keep their mind focused on the task at hand, and not let the game speed up on them too much. So some pitchers you're going to have to be a little bit softer with, and maybe seemingly a little more compassionate. And then there's a whole range of it. So knowing your athlete, you're the coach on the field, right? Knowing your athlete, knowing your pitcher, and how to handle that person, and building relationships. And I think that so many aspects of being a catcher carry over, yes, into the game of play. They carry over into other sports, but they really carry over into life as well. Somebody who's confident in situations that present adversity, somebody who could manage people and their relationships and help come out of situations as positively as you possibly can. Somebody who knows how to bring a team back from being in a situation where they're failing. There's so many aspects of being a catcher that require leadership, and you could be quiet and lead by action, or you can be loud and lead by action and be more verbal with people. But there's so many ways to be a leader. You don't have to be one certain way. And so going back to revisit these, number one is you have to have the physical skill sets. Number two, you have to have competence or an on-field IQ. And number three, you have to be and develop yourself as a leader. And so those are the three, in my opinion, most critical aspects of becoming excellent at this position.